like a monster.
I hate what I've become. The nightmare's just begun. I must confess that I feel like a monster. I feel it deep within. It's just beneath the skin. I must confess that I feel like a monster. I feel like a monster. I feel like a monster.
Hello everyone, how are all of you doing? I'm going to move my camera now because it's going to have to be moved later. Welcome to this review of Divinity Original Sin 2. Now, before some of you start protesting, yes, I know the main game officially came out a month ago. I've been busy, but I told you I was going to get around to it. So, what about Divinity Original Sin 2 makes it awesome? There's a whole lot to unpack here, and we've only got... I'm going to try to keep it to half an hour. First and foremost, as you guys can see, the options mode is here. Basically, you can control every little detail of every little thing. There's nothing really here that I wouldn't say is missing. I mean, for crying out loud, I can change different... This is like the first time I've seen this in any game. There's 3 different voice settings for volume. And all your video settings are right here. This is not a high-end intensity video game, though. You can like reduce the video quality and run this on a freaking potato. So, Divinity Original Sin 2 is a turn-based, isometric, tactical RPG with the element of absolute insanity behind it. That is real physics. Now you have several different difficulty settings effectively here. You have Explorer mode, which is, as I said, if you prefer story and exploration over being challenged in combat, this is the difficulty for you. You have Classic mode, Divinity Classic, you'll need your wits about you in both in and out of combat. Tactical mode, the foes you'll meet will be cunning and relentless. They'll bombard you with nasty tricks and surprises that the Explorer and Classic modes don't feature, but not for the faint of heart. And Honor mode, which failure is not an option. Up the stakes by only having a single saved game in addition to the highly challenging Tactician mode. If your entire party prepares, the saved game will be erased and your quest will be truly over. So you have everything here from casual to Dark Souls mode, which I kind of agree with. One of the big things about the entire Divinity series is that there's no critical NPCs. Everyone can be murdered. If you want to be a psychopath and kill everybody, you can. Just letting you know. Also, you can train anything. So, and the fantasy races of the Divinity universe operate vastly differently. You know, you guys are seeing the undead characters now too than your standard races. So dwarfs can petrify people and throw a blinding squall. They're also really sturdy. They get a lot of hit points. Make really good tanks. Elves eat people to access their memories. Can bite off their own flesh to get extra action points and a temporary damage boost. Yeah, elves are weird. Let's just leave it at that. Humans encourage, get extra initiative and extra crit chance, and extra chance to bartering. Lizards breathe fire, and are really good talkers. The various different classes are kind of how you start. And what you start with changes how everything works. So I'm actually going to start off as something that's a ranged caster. Just to kind of show you guys, here we go. This is perfect. I can show you guys immediately some interaction. I'm not going to worry about names or anything talent-wise. Let's take... let's take Pet Pal, because like there are entire playthroughs that are changed just because you can talk to animals. And of course your playthrough is also modified by your special tags, and you get to pick an instrument for your character when it's their turn. Cello, the old, the tambula, and the bansari flute. Yeah, sure, whatever. The whole point is to basically throw you into a world you know nothing about, then let you learn about and figure out the world as you go. All the Divinity games are set in the same world at different times, and all of them have this trait.
All happened like I knew it would.
By the way, the hand-drawn cutscene art style
Single drop of sauce.
is really cool.
And like flies to honey, the monsters swarmed. The rebel panicked. The carnage began. And the Magisters pointed their fingers at me. Just as I'd planned. I was shackled and collared.
So we're gonna skip this to try to avoid some spoilers for you guys. The whole point here, however, is that the game is built in a way that makes it unique. Gives you this unique, different experience. As you can see, I'm waking up from being chained up with a headache.
It wasn't a dream after all.
Everything can be controlled with the mouse. You don't need to use hotkeys. Hotkeys are nice. Now, you'll notice something here.
Yes.
You notice he has magical and physical armor. What that means is different types of enemies.
There. Not in the meantime, you'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officer's quarter.
I'm gonna skip through some story real quick, guys. But what it means is being strictly a mage or strictly a warrior has its disadvantages and its advantages.
There's been a murder here.
Behind the Magister, a bloodied mass lies in a heap.
I can choose to investigate this or not.
You can't make out a face amid the mess.
Any quest in the game is like this. You can choose if you want to do anything about it or just go on like nothing's wrong. Every one of these NPCs at any time, I can just turn around and start murdering them.
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard, Vic.
That right.
I mean,
Knew you'd turn out dropped.
also I can recruit NPCs if you're playing this on single player or you're playing this without a full 4-person party.
Wolves at the campfire.
Quite simply.
Well, you've got this wolf.
Here's the register, man. Good, good. Magister, will you faring okay so far? Of course I do. Seems Voidwalk can dog your heels like a shadow. That's no way. You head off.
Keep those bubbles trained on her. And if she tries...
Standing at the center of the room, you spot a sorcerer haughtily eyeing a pair of nervous-looking men.
So you admit it then? You murdered that poor fella.
Yes, I did. But of course, that was only the beginning.
She turns her head and looks you straight in the...
There are others whose lives must end.
Good God. You there, sorcerer. Go and fetch Magister Siwan. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to...
Every person in the game. Every single line, every single thing they say, except your character, which kind of annoys me that your character doesn't have a voice, but it's understandable. When all of the NPCs, all of them, are voice acted. The voice acting cast for this game is literally 10 pages long.
No, I'm afraid I always perform my part, so
She reaches for her collar and simply removes it.
I'm just about to create...
Subdue her, men, quickly. If she casts source, the Voidwalker will come.
She smiles with wicked...
Precisely.
Well, that sucked. They're extra barbecued. Extra barbecued.
What's happened?
Dead bodies. Gonna loot the dead bodies. Not that I'm keeping this game. But you're kind of getting an idea about how the game works, what it is. And now I'm going to introduce you to something else. The reason we took Pet
The
Pal.
hound paws desperately at its snout. It winces as it draws blood from its wet black nose and continues scratching. The dog notices you for the first time and snarls. the hairs on its back prickling as it lowers itself into a lunge.
You sorcerer!
It sneezes suddenly and paws at its nose once more.
Can't smell. Can't breathe. Too much sauce. Too much. Too much. Please, make it stop. Sorcerer.
The dog whines.
Not long before this thing snaps into splinters.
And as you can see, just chaos. You're thrown into chaos that you just have to deal with. Now, I'm not gonna stop and like min-max everything or make sure,
Something's pounding on the hull.
or you know, get everything taken care of here. We're gonna just leave, and because I want to get to some combat. I kind of want to show you guys how combat works and what I'm talking about when combat terms. The story is excellent. The music score is fantastic. Here we go. We're in a fight. Well, that guy's dead. Okay, so this attack says that it throws a rock filled with sticky oil that deals damage and creates an oil surface where it lands. Kind of like that. So now I have an oil surface. Well, what happens to oil when you throw fire at it? By the way, welcome to Divinity. Elements matter on every little level. If it wasn't raining, by the way, that fire would not simply just go out. I would have to stand there and wait for it to burn out or just take the hit. I'm on fire now.
That means there's still a chance.
Go on, kid. Climb up there and dig in the rope.
You do it.
And now is my chance to go be a hero. And I'm going to go be a
Magister lies
hero.
on the floor,
I had the option right there, by the way, of getting on the boat or not. So from here, everything you do, every decision you make, changes how the game plays out. Elves can eat limbs, by the way. Yeah. Elves eat people to get their memories, which also means elves can eat people, can eat body parts for experience as well as skills.
Shut your trap, kid. Children and dwarfs first, just like the old story.
The dwarf yanks at one of the nearby ropes.
You said there were other people down.
You see those tentacles, kid? It's time for getting the hell out of here. Hear that, kid?
But what about the ladder? It's right over there.
There's
The
no...
boat rocks downward. A hallowed ancient empire prayer passes through your mind. Cleanse with flames my failures. Ancient kin, perfect
And
me.
depending on your race you're playing, you get different
You clench your
dialogue
eyes.
options, as well as different things that pop into your head. And basically the choice to either save people or abandon them changes your start. That is a Voidwoken monster.
I have plans for you, child.
So, you guys have gotten a little taste. You kind of know how combat works. By the way, this is an incredibly hard game.
We lost a ship.
I'm going to be skipping the cutscenes, but this is an incredibly hard game. That first combat is supposed to... The first couple combats are supposed to be a little easy for you. But, the game will turn around and just kick your ass. Like, has no qualms beating the tar out of you at any point during the game. And I'm now going to skip over to some footage for you guys. That's right, pre-recorded footage before this review. Hey look, I did that. I did that as a thing. Of the game from a previous episode of Fail Sword Adventures, our little playthrough we've been doing. So this is much later in the game. This is not near the end. This is just near the end of Chapter 1. What we have here is a really big combat, the final showdown with the Magisters on Fort Joy. Now, as you can see, we are arranged kind of at a disadvantage because height also gives people advantages to do more damage to you if they're using ranged attacks. Furthermore, we are currently facing down a whole lot of different enemies. You have melee specialists, you have ranged specialists, you have magic specialists, you have melee spell sword type of deals. You have straight up a fucking bishop, like good old fashioned D&D. I have a two-handed warhammer and my name is cleric. And you have the assassins. All of them are going to fight us differently. And what's going to make this combat truly horrifying is we are going to have to deal with a third party. Later on during the combat, a source, a massive boss appears that basically you can't kill it on your own. The NPCs you were just fighting have to help you. And you have to convince them to help you with one or two dialogue options in the middle of combat. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Point here being, this is where things escalate quickly. And you realize that you are now in a bigger world. A world where, yes, it's raining blood and we've set things on fire and we're surrounded by a magical defense shield. And we need all of those advantages to happen for us to win. It genuinely can be that difficult. The computer will smartly teleport your characters away if they have a teleport ability. They will crowd control. They will go after the person who they think they can kill, i.e. the weakest link. If you leave that person exposed, they will just go in and kill you. And that's not a bad thing. The AI here is incredibly intelligent. The world also feels living and breathing. If you kill somebody that was part of a quest chain, the quest chain alters. If somebody in the quest chain becomes uncooperative with you, you can just fail the quest. Or if somebody in the quest chain becomes your enemy, the quest can change drastically to where you have to figure out a way to still get through the quest, but they're now not going to help you. Or you can skip way ahead in quests and end up in places you probably shouldn't be yet. Larian Studios, as usual with their Divinity series, all the installments do an incredibly great job of creating a living, breathing world where other NPCs will do what they want to do regardless if the player decides to act or not. Where the enemies will fight you like they are fighting for their lives. Because they are. You're trying to kill them. And where the game has layer upon layer of depth in mechanics. As you can see on the screen right now, there is source corrupted fire called Necrofire that literally burns me through my armor and can kill me through my armor. All of that is from us hurling a barrel of oil down there and throwing a fireball and then casting source. Like, every time you start stacking new stuff, it drastically alters it. If you're shooting at a puddle of water and you throw a lightning bolt at a guy, guess what? You electrify the water. Just like the steam cloud is now electrified. If you keep shooting lightning into that, it doesn't just go away, it intensifies. We had it up to the point of which walking on a particular area of ground that was basically the whole battlefield, if you moved, you took 100+ points of lightning damage from the electrical shock of moving. That is definitely a surprise, holy shit, butt sex moment. As you can see, because my character has wings, I can just fly over the Necrofire. And then I can, fly somewhere else, because that's what one of the polymorph abilities is is for me to be able to just go, I'm gonna fly, so I'm gonna be somewhere else now, flying. And the amount of detail, work, and effort that's gone into this game. Yes, it is very Dark Souls-esque and how quickly it can turn against you. But that's okay.
This is unacceptable. I cannot see any target.
Would I say this is for the random casual gamer? Well, there is a mode for you, exploration mode. Is it for someone who's like a 10 or 12? No, it's 10-year-olds and below need not apply. There's too much graphic violence, there's too many sexual themes, and the game mechanics are that complex. Like, this is the type of game that will drag me away from EVE. This will drag me away from EVE Online. Like, I will come play this instead of EVE Online because it's that good. It's that in-depth, it's that encompassing, and it's that immersive. Now, problems I have with the game. A lot of mechanics aren't explained to you until they happen. So, until you do something, you don't realize it can do that. Till you say pickpocket somebody, you don't know you can pickpocket somebody. Till you have one of your characters walk out of combat, heal up, and then come back into combat, you don't realize you can do that. Until you throw a fossil strike and then follow it up with a fireball, you don't realize that fossil strike can be set on fire. Just stuff like that. So you honestly sometimes just don't know what the combinations of spells and abilities you're going to use are actually going to do. You just have to guess. And I draw issue with that because there should be some tooltips or something to give me some information. But there's not. And that's a wee bit disconcerting. Is it game breaking? No. What it means is you're going to be saving and reloading a lot. Save scum is common in this game, particularly for people who are not utter masters of it. Save scum is worse in this game than XCOM. I can't believe I just said that, but that's the truth. Save scum is worse in this game than XCOM. And that is that is a horrifyingly sad truth that we have to wake up to when you're playing Divinity. So, would I give it my full 100% recommendation? No. I would give it a recommendation for anyone who's an RPG nerd or a strategy buff. If you liked Final Fantasy Tactics, if you like XCOM, if you like Tyranny, like, those are 3 games I can think of when playing this. Obsidian's new game Tyranny that came out about 3 months ago, whose expansion came out last month, the old school Final Fantasy Tactics, or XCOM, where you have that kind of tactical engagement when you're doing the combat. With Tyranny and with Tyranny's rich type of story, like, this is the kind of story where I get the same kind of feelings going on in me about the characters in immersive state I got when I first played Knights of the Old Republic 1. Like, this is the story that will suck you in harder than Final Fantasy VII and spit you back out with all of your emotions worse than an episode of My Little Pony. It's that good. The story is great and immersive. Is the game for everyone? No. But if you like those kind of games, if you've been considering Divinity, it's worth the money. I'm just going to straight up say it's worth them. It is one of the few times I've done a brutally honest review, and we've been sitting here talking about it. Is it worth its money? Yes. Like, flat out, yes. It is worth the asking price. Which, if I can get the store to come up here, that would be nice. But I'm going to get you guys I think it's $60. I think now. Don't quote me on that. But apparently Steam's website is literally down right now, or my internet connection is being iffy. I think my internet connection is being iffy because I can't connect to anything. So, yeah, it's total. This is 100% professional. Yep, totally. Just stood up, let you look down my shirt, and middle of a review. Why not? But yes, it's worth its asking price. I've played enough of it to know that. I think I have 70 hours in this between the early access. I have 55 hours in this between early access and post-early access. And I still want to play it more. Like, I want to play it so much that it's going to be a video series on my channel that I'm going to finish. Regardless if other people watch it or not, we're finishing the video series because Fail Sword Adventures is fun and this game is that good. So if you're considering picking it up, if you need a new RPG fix, if you need something to uplift you after the disappointment that was War of the Chosen, it's actually only $45. It's $15 cheaper than I said it was. Totally worth it. Totally 100% worth the money. And of course, if you really want to, you can pay the extra money to get the digital art books, the map, the soundtrack, the art pack for an extra $15. I haven't because I just wanted the game. Game is great. Game is awesome. Also, you can play as one of the really cool things about this that I really like is you can play as the pre-built character. And you'll have a story arc for that character. Every single customizable character, elf, human, lizard folk, dwarf, or one of the undead. All the undead have the same one because they're just lumped into the same. You're under the god of the undead. But all of them have a different major story arc in each act. There's 5 acts. So that means that if you play a custom character, your custom character will get their own story arc. If you play a pre-built character, and also the pre-built characters you recruit in single-player mode or in multiplayer mode where you don't have 4 people, they also have their own stories that you can go off on. Or not. You don't have to. So there's a massive amount of replayability to this. Not only in the fact that you can play a completely different character combat-wise, but you can play a completely different character story-wise. So it satisfies both the tactical RPG nerd inside you that wants a different experience by gameplay, and it satisfies the I'm an RPG nerd and I love story, give me a new story, well guess what, you'll get a different story. And a lot of the dialogues are changed based on your race. And also based upon your particular tags that you picked at the beginning of the game. Dialogue has changed significantly, which changes significantly the interaction with other characters, which changes their attitude towards you, and it can even change quests that are available to you or give you alternative methods of completing different quests. Sometimes, if you don't have a scholar in the group, for instance, there's a particular guy who won't give you a quest at all until someone comes up and gives him a scholar response. If there's no scholar in the group, you don't get it. You can't get his quest. Every one of them has at least 2, every single tag, both the ones you start with and the ones you can pick up, have at least 2, if not 3 separate quests that can't be accessed without having that tag. Races are the same way. There's at least 1 quest each chapter that cannot be accessed or cannot be resolved without having a particular race in your party. There's 5 races. Human, dwarf, elf, lizard, undead. Notice that there's 5. You can only have 4 characters. Game literally says if you want to experience all I've got, you've got to replay me multiple times. And I would say it's worth replaying multiple times. This is the kind of game where you could play this like for thousands of hours like Skyrim and might not discover or get everything. There's a full-on crafting system that you can use or ignore. There's a full-on skill combining system, such as the Rain of Blood and Fire. So you now bleed fire at people, or bleed poison. by combining 2 different skills. You can turn people into chickens, for fuck's sake. Come on. When was the last time you got to play a game where you got to look at a major boss and said, "Be a chicken!" and then beat up the frickin' chicken because you wanted some KFC? I know I'm singing a lot of praise here, but that's because this is genuinely a good game. If you guys have watched my brutally honest reviews, if it's not a good game or it's a mediocre game, I'll let you know. This is a good one. So here's the previous brutally honest review as an example of that. Total War Warhammer 2. Mediocre at best. And I will be reviewing another game next week. There's going to be a lot of reviews coming out. There's also going to be some first look stuff coming out too. Yeah. Summer drought's over, guys. Get ready for it. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so through Patreon, or you can become a sponsor here on YouTube and get special emotes to use in live stream chat during live streams. I'll see you guys later this afternoon for live stream. And once again, please do go check out the announcement video as well. It's a little like 2 minutes letting you guys know my con schedule for the next 6 weeks. Because there's 4 conventions that are going to happen in 5 weeks. I'm going to be running ragged. I already am. Love all of you. Last thing is there's a 12 to 24 hour, depending on how long I can go, stream on Wednesday. That's tomorrow. That is because I need to raise money for Sophie's plane ticket, and I need to raise spending money for the convention. So we're going to be doing a big ol' fundraiser stream for that, and we'll be doing a second fundraiser stream next month to solidify Sophie, my significant other's trip here for Christmas. In the meantime, I'll talk to all you guys later. Good night, everybody!